welcome back to a new episode of the Past Lives podcast. For the next 15 minutes or so, I will be your host, and today I would like to share a personal experience with you that I had with the technique of remembering past lives. Additionally, I thought that maybe it would be helpful to you to directly talk with people who have gone through past life recollection experiences, and I tried the best I could to find people who I know for sure that have gone through these past experiences. And by talking to them, I hope that this will also help you to understand the topic more. Today, I would like to begin with sharing with you my own experience. Following that, in the next episodes, we will talk to the invited guests directly. And at the very end, we will also invite the master that teaches this method and from whose books I'm also quoting teachings, as well as from which I have also learned the method. We are going to invite him so that he will also share his insight with us. Now let's make a short recap of our last episode. In the last episode, I gave some examples from the scientific world and also the example of a real case of a young boy who, in his current life, had seemingly unexplainable experiences related to a previous life in which he was an airplane pilot in World War II. The boy remembered seemingly inexplicable details of his experience, details that his parents had sought out and confirmed with military personnel in the current life. However, for the full details of this case, I invite you to listen the previous episode. Now let's get back to today's topic, through which I would like to share with you an experience from my journey regarding the recollection of past lives. I am going to answer the same questions firsthand, which I'll also address to the invited guests further on in the next episodes. That way, I hope you will have the possibility to find out about different perspectives concerning the same topic. The first question would be, why is anybody, or in this case me, why am I interested in the subject of reincarnation? So for me, everything started basically when I was young, because I couldn't quite find the answers to the questions of life through the religion in which I was born. So my religion, as per the papers, is Christian Orthodox. I was born in this religion, but I didn't really find any logical explanations to questions like, what's the purpose of life, and is the world fair? If yes, in what way? Without accepting the idea of reincarnation. So basically my quest started there because I could not find the answers from the religion I was provided with. And by reading about different religions in the world, I read the whole book about history of religions, and I actually went through each religion to see what is the philosophical system behind. And I came to the conclusion that Buddhism, for me at least, seems to be the religion which, actually it's not a religion, in my perspective is a philosophical system, which gave to me the answers that I was looking for. They seem the most acceptable answers of all potential answers out there today. The next question which I would like to answer is, what has led me to look for methods by which I can remember past lives? So after looking on a theoretical basis about the answers to these questions, well, I was then genuinely interested to actually try out a practical method of experiencing the recollection of past lives. And at the beginning, I was quite skeptical about it, and I'm also having a quite technical background in my day-to-day life, so it was quite difficult for me to accept the theory without trying it out. And I think, this is what brought me to a conviction that this method is working after I actually experienced it myself. Right. And I did not try different methods in parallel. I just stumbled upon this method, and I happened to meet the people who were offering the possibility of recalling the past lives through this method. So since I was quite satisfied with this method, I did not feel the need to look in other parts as well. The next question would be, how many times have I had this experience, and how many lives have I relived? Well, I'm rather, let's say, new to practicing this method. Unlike the guests which I'm going to have, they've been practicing it for more than 10 or 15 years. But myself, I've been practicing it for maybe 2-3 years, not on a constant basis. I think I had these experiences about 10 or 15 times. And not every time I was landing, let's say, in a past life. Sometimes I was also landing in memories which I have forgotten from the current life, from the period in which I was like a little baby, and even the period when I was inside my mother's womb. I think that was the most, let's say, marking experience of remembering how life was at the beginning of the existence on Earth. And maybe that's something interesting what I would like to focus on while answering these questions. I think that since that was the most marking experience, that is also the next question which comes here. What did I actually remember? Well, I basically remember how it was like to be a small cluster of cells which is developing inside someone else's body. And I was experiencing how this cluster of cells is slowly transforming into a body and taking even more and more space. And experiencing how basically the space around, which is also filled with like a liquid, how it's like reducing and becoming slowly unbearable to stay in as the birth date was actually coming closer. The reason why I actually decided to spontaneously talk about this now is because remembering this experience has made the most profound mark on my life so far. Before knowing this, me personally, I kind of struggled with finding an answer to the question, why do I have to be here on this planet, in this body? Why now? Why in this particular place? I had many why questions. And by remembering not only how it was to form my body for the current life, but actually to overpass that moment before the conception between the parents took place, I reached a place where I did not have let's say, like a physical body yet, because it was right before I was about to be conceived. And the moment that I reached that state, I realized that it was me who decided, or who actually almost desperately wanted to come to manifestation in a physical body. And when I realized that I was the reason why I actually came to a physical body, because my desire was so strong to come to manifestation, that's when all these questions disappeared. And the struggle. And of course also the moments of sadness, or the melancholy moments, or the depression moments when I was not finding answers to these questions, like who put me here? Why am I here? Why do I have to do this? The moment in which I realized that it was me who wanted all this for myself, then a certain peace installed itself, and I did not have any more negative emotions related to this ever since. This happened about almost 1 year ago, and I can confirm since then I'm feeling so much happier in this respect, and so much more at peace, knowing that I tailored my own path to some extent, at least. The next question would be, some of these methods of past recollections can also be applied as therapies, and the question would be if I noticed any improvement in my health. Well, I did experience improvement in my mental health, because the frequency of the negative emotions has reduced ever since, and also that internal let's say, rebellious feeling that, oh, I don't want to be here. I just want to first understand why am I here, and then after understanding that, maybe I want to decide by myself that I want to go somewhere else. And that rebellious feeling, that state of inner conflict disappeared after I had this experience. But it's important to have this experience by yourself. I mean, I can tell you something which maybe to you it might seem a story. That is why I would encourage you to also try it out and experience it for yourself to see to test it, whether it's like that or not. And the advantage is that you do not need to accept any doctrine or any theory to do that. It's just a practical method. You just go to a session of past life recollections, and then you can see how that can work out for you and experience it firsthand, basically. Next question would be if the people that I saw in my previous life are also present in the current life, where in my case, the experience which I share with you is from the current life, and it mostly concerns my mother. And yes, I did tell her after that what I experienced. I actually accessed this event several times. Well, actually 2 times. I accessed it one time last year and one time this year, and this allowed me to relive, so to live again the whole time between the conception moment and until the birth took place. The birth, which in my case took place through a C-section. And after that, remembering, I confronted my mother with the details of everything that happened and everything that she's been through. And to a big extent, she confirmed that the experience was exactly like that. So, yeah, I did tell my mom about it. And how did she react? Well, of course, she was a bit surprised because it doesn't happen every day that somebody is able, through help, of course, to remember those memories from such early beginnings. She was quite surprised, impressed, shocked, all at the same time. But I think she was also very happy that I remembered that, and that maybe this caused our relationship to become even closer, because I think it's not a very easy time the time in which you're having a baby. So understanding her from that perspective early on also made it possible on my side to increase my level of empathy towards her, and also, of course, of gratitude towards everything that she's been through to be able to put my body out here in the world. Right. So the next question would be that do I think that this type of experience can help to clarify conflicts and to improve relationships? And if so, in what way? Yes, I definitely think so. Just like how I just early on mentioned, by understanding what the other person is going through and seeing maybe from their eyes and from their experience how those moments were, I think this type of recollections is helping us to increase our understanding, our patience, and our gratitude towards the people in our life. In my case, I did not have a conflictual situation with her, but it did help me to understand my mom from a different perspective. What is my impression of this experience? Well, for me, it was like a liberation, because I did struggle with that inner conflict for quite some time, 30 years of my life, basically. And I am very, very happy that I had this experience, because I literally felt liberated. I mean, to get rid of that, I think I can even call it anger towards something which I did not even know what it is, because I mean, if you do not know who put you here in this body, who are you directing your anger towards? You don't really have any target for it. And once I realized it was me, well, it's funny to say, but I guess anger disappeared because I understood that I must have had some important reason why I decided to go through such an experience. Now the only open questions remains, okay, what was my reason? I didn't get that far, but at least I got to the point where I realized that, yeah, I did make this decision based on some reasoning, I hope. What did this experience change in me after that? I think I became a more peaceful person after this experience. And the last question for today would be if I would like to remember other lives. Well, the experience I shared with you was from the current life, so maybe in a next episode I will share experiences also from a past life. But generally, yes, I would like to remember other lives and more from the other lives. I would like to conclude by quoting a paragraph from the Master's book on reincarnation, in which he is stating that in all the history of religions, I don't think there is an idea more beaten by fate, apart from that of freedom, as that of metempsychosis, since it was stoned by Jews, massacred by Islam, and anathematized by Christianity, even if in the mode paradoxically, the most important prophets, mystics, and saints of these religions were fervent supporters of the phenomenon of reincarnation, some preaching this teaching without voice in the world, others limiting themselves to the narrower circle of disciples. But the truth has an unpleasant property. The more you try to suppress it, the more it comes out, and the more it comes out in a convincing way to the surface. Throughout history, both in the East and in the West, this phenomenon irresistibly appeared spontaneously here and there, as if wanting to remember permanently to the man locked in a clay, that's us, that he cannot deny his past. For this reason, being out with a certain responsibility. The present draws its juice from the past, and the future is built from its pieces. The reason why I quoted this paragraph is because I would like to highlight the fact that we now have an opportunity to not just theoretically discuss about past lives, recollections, as it has been done throughout different cultures and religions, but we actually have a practical method by which we can experience that. And experience, I believe, beats any theory. Therefore, I hope that you will also join me next time for a next episode in which we will talk to the first guest that has experienced the recollection of past lives firsthand, and we will be able to learn from her journey in this respect. I wish you all a lovely week ahead, and I am looking forward to have you here next time.